What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Turbo today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends, and waste no time at all. What a crazy day for Turbo. I gotta say, I was not expecting something like this, and that's pretty bad, you guys. That's a pretty bad day to have. I don't think it's worth panicking about. I think anything that was worth panicking about, it's already too late now, and I do assume that was the low. I think that was it. I think Turbo is probably at the most amazing price to buy than it will be for the rest of the cycle, right? 62%. You know what? If you guys remember, I don't know how many of you remember this, right? But whenever I first started talking about Turbo, more often at least, not the very first time I started talking about Turbo, but when I first started talking about it more regularly was whenever it got listed on Coinbase. And I was saying that the average coin drops anywhere from 60 to 75%. Most of them drop around 60 to 65%, but something in that range within the first 6 weeks of existing on a major platform like Coinbase or by, I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry if you guys heard that or not, I don't know, but you know, 2-year-olds cry, she's just having a bad night, man. But where was I? Whenever you get listed on a major exchange like Binance or Coinbase, I went through, I'm going to not spend too much time talking about this anymore, but I went through and I did like literally a whole day's worth of research comparing hundreds of coins whenever they first got listed, and I compiled an average of this data. 95+% of these coins in the first 6 weeks of their listing on these exchanges, top 2 exchanges, for crypto, which are Coinbase and Binance, they drop anywhere from 60 to 75%, with the average being around 65%, 66% overall. So getting back to the charts here, Turbo, whenever I first was talking about it getting listed on Coinbase here, it only dropped 56%, and I was like, that's abnormal. Normally you see something more, but just because it's abnormal doesn't mean it can't. And if you look at the Turbo chart as a whole, you know, you look at it like this, it actually at this point, wherever it was, what was it? Let's see. Would have been right here. It actually looked like it was ready, you know, kind of ready to keep going up. And even here, after finding support here, it kind of looked like it was ready to keep going up. But yesterday, that definitely broke some structure. I'm pretty surprised that it did that. Sorry, I'm trying to find this back, but it makes all the sense in the world whenever you just look at the Coinbase chart, because now we take the high that it had, which was the listing price, right? It just dumped immediately. As soon as it listed, it dumped. And then to the low now you've dropped 62% overall. Now that doesn't mean you have to bounce from here and that you can't go lower. You absolutely can go lower, but that was a lot of volume on this drop that we had yesterday. That was a lot of volume that we had on the drop yesterday. If we type in the Binance chart, that was a lot of volume on that chart as well, right? We did just break out of the zone. I suspect we could go a little bit lower, but that very well could have been the low. And let's kind of flirt with that idea of maybe that was the low, or maybe we have lower to go. Let's see what would make the most sense there. It would make sense to find support here. You could go lower. You're at 0.006 now. The lowest you go would be 0.005. And I want to say before we get too much more in this video, because I feel like it's not something that I full on addressed, I'm not worried about Turbo. I think it's going to be fine. I think all the targets, all the all-time high targets that I've ever discussed are still on the table. Now it's just at a better price to buy. That's my perspective on Turbo right now. Okay, so in case anybody's freaking out, it's very possible, you know, I had targets for Turbo that were at $1 and even above $1. It's possible Turbo doesn't even make it to 25 cents, you know, fully acknowledge that kind of stuff. But I do personally expect that Turbo does see prices above 50 cents, probably near $1, if not above $1 is my expectation by the end of the cycle. So with the price being here, I think it's just ideal buying opportunities, really. But it could go a little bit lower. It could go all the way down to the 1618. That's possible. I want to kind of see what you like to do real quick. I want to get a little gathering of information. Does that sound okay to you guys? We're gonna take a stroll down memory lane for Turbo here. Okay, we'll see if that makes sense as we continue to do this. Okay, so let's go all the way back to the beginning. Yes, what happened here? From a low to a high, you pulled back to your 1272, 1414 area. Okay, and then you continue to go lower. You found support between your 1414 and the 1618. Okay, that's good to know. What about the next one? What'd you do here? From this low to high, you went to your 1272 and you found support. You grinded it. Okay, I'm getting some kind of characteristical data analysis driven in here, just to kind of compare it and see if it has any tendencies, if it has a preferred area. That 1272 has come up a few times, and the 1-4-1-4 just below. You don't go to your 1618, but you can go just below the 1-4-1-4. That is something that we've already seen twice now. I want to measure the down moves, not the up moves, because down moves are a little bit different than up moves. Okay, I hope this all makes sense what I'm doing. We're doing it really quick. It's not the most in-depth stuff, but yeah, there you went to your 1618, double bottomed off the 1618. Okay, so you like to grind those areas. So what I would expect, it looks like Turbo likes to grind its lows out, man. Yeah, oh, that's not the right fib. That's not what I want to draw. Let's do this one, yeah. Low to high. That probably goes to the 1618. Tipped at 1618 on these smaller moves, yes. Okay, I think that's enough. Okay, so I'm confident enough to say, ooh, but which fib do I take? Do I take this low or do I take that low? It's hard to say. Okay, I'm confident enough, I am confident enough to say half a cent would be the lowest I think you would go. Okay, if you were to drop lower from here, if you bought here and you're worried it could dump from here, I would say don't worry it could dump, just worry that it could drop 17% at the most. That's, and I'm not saying it will, I'm just saying if it were to go lower, that would make the most sense to me. It's at the 1272 of this low to high here, that's at the 1272 there. It's at the 1618 of this low to high here, your two most kind of relative pivots before making this move down, right? So in this consolidation phase, so I feel like that makes sense to me. 1272 area and the 16, you like the 1272 areas, and you grind that out apparently, if not going lower on those longer or more developed kind of pivots. And on the smaller pivots, we've seen a handful of times you do go to that 1618 area, and still that grinding kind of action where you kind of get a double bottom off of it almost. So I would expect, whether this is your low here at about 0.006 or that's your low there at about half a cent, regardless of what it is or when it is, looking at the daily time frame and how you've done it historically speaking, I would suspect that you probably are boring essentially for the rest of the month. Now, this could be wrong. This all could be wrong. I'm basing it off of what I've seen, how you've performed throughout the cycle. And just because Turbo could be boring the whole rest of the month, I expect the rest of crypto to kind of be exciting and pump the rest of this month. But so Turbo might not do that. That doesn't mean Turbo's broken. It can do its own thing. It's fine, right? It just got listed on Coinbase. It's recently gotten listed on Binance too. So it's got some sell pressure from that, right? And there's a lot less buy pressure. If Coinbase and Binance have it listed, then that means they're not buying the token, right? They're not buying it off of the open market so that they can one day list it. There's no buying pressure from those exchanges. There's just selling pressure. You have the two biggest entities in the world who offer on-ramps, which that is bullish. That is beneficial for Turbo in the long term, and it will help it grow and see these higher market cap prices. It will. But in the short term, especially right when you get that release, it not just only applies some sell pressure, but it does cut off buying pressure. And that's why you can see, I think you can see this thing do its own thing outside of the mainstream crypto, and that's fine. But if I'm wrong on that, then the only way I think that I'd be wrong on that is that, either something's fundamentally broken and this thing's going to zero, or more likely this was some kind of fake out and you're about to rip and run really hard, right? You're not going to consolidate how you have every single other time. You're not going to move sideways for about like a week or two or three and then move up. You're not going to do that, right? And that's what you tend to do. Maybe you see a kind of fake out, and this could be a fake out, kind of like what Bitcoin saw, right? Where you find support, and then right as you break under, you might move here for a few days and then rip and run, right? We've seen this exact same thing happen with Bitcoin. So it's hard to say what I would expect Turbo to do. All I can say is what I would not expect it to do, which right now, my expectation would be that it does not go below half a cent. Okay, that's my expectation right now. I do expect to see new all-time highs. I don't expect that this is anything that's going to be fundamentally flawing or developmentally harmful to Turbo. I think it's going to be fine. After all, if you look at the chart, I mean, it's still an immaculate looking chart. You are in this top kind of consolidation phase, just figuring yourself out. We look at the weekly RSI. You do have some lower lows here. This is the lowest on the RSI that you've been basically since inception. So that's not necessarily ideal, but I think, oh my goodness, I think I just discovered something. And look at that, the 61869 right there, just above 5 cents. So that really, I like that right there. Sorry, half a cent. I think this is a running flat. I think that's what this is. I think this is a running flat. It might be a bullish running flat. Let me look real quick. If you don't know what that is, just bear with me. What is a bullish running flat? Or maybe it's not called that. Bullish running flat is technical analysis pattern. Running flat in a bull market. See right here, bullish running flat. So we have this little thing here and this little thing. It's like if you drew a straight line right here in the middle, but you have these peaks. I don't know how else to describe it. You know, that's a good example there too. Something like that. It's a running flat. It looks just like that. It's a running flat pattern, right? Turbo. That's this right here. Am I wrong? Look at it, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, up, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I don't know. It's kind of wiggly, whatever. It looks the same. Looks the same. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's the count. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. 1, 2, 3. It was not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, maybe. I guess. I don't know. And then, or no, it would have been 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would have been 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there it is, right there, 4, 5, right? 1, 1, 2, 3, low, high, low, 1, 2, 3, high, low, high, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like this, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that V ends up being pretty identical to this II. So in between the low and the high, that'd be your 1, 2 down, which would be your 1, 2 here. Your low would be close to this low here is what that's saying, which that low there is right at ½ cent. We keep getting that number, baby. It's a running flat. It's a bullish running flat. Look it up. You guys, spend after this video, if you want to look up some technical analysis or you want to better understand this pattern, because I'm not the best with Elliott wave theory, but I am good at, I feel like I'm pretty proficient at chart pattern recognition, and I take a lot of stuff in, right? Look up this Elliott wave formation. I have the utmost confidence that's what this is, and I think beyond all thoughts that it's going to result in some very bullish price action on the way out, man. You're definitely, I don't think that this is bad at all. I'm even more bullish now. It's a bullish running flat. That's what it is. That's what this whole thing is right here, in case it's not abundantly clear. Yeah, okay, so let's look real quick. Hold on. High here to low, where you're at. Yeah, you'll find support somewhere soon, and then you're off to 3.1 cents, man. Turbo, I think by the end of February could be up like 5x from here. Yeah, and if that's not by the end of February, that would happen, I think, sometime in April, May. Okay, and if you're not up there by the end of February, then certainly I would expect you're somewhere around your all-time highs, your current all-time highs. So I got nothing else to say. I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button. If you didn't, subscribe. Or if you did like the video, subscribe as well. And I got nothing else for you, so take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.